white folks. They could come through. And so we here in 2019, 6 years later, it's become an annual festival.
That's right.
And always very well done, very organized.
Yeah, I got the live up. Get ready to get here to make sure. Okay, I'm on the pink. Yeah.
Never been to a manifest? Man, you need it. I'm telling you, you
Greetings, Facebook Live family. We are getting ready to come to you live here in just a moment. Soon, real close.
Women, black women especially, black women manifesting their dreams.
That's right.
Will manifest. And it's a beautiful idea and a beautiful concept. And it has turned into something really live and real and alive. And
when you started, I'm gonna come right in, right?
Broadcast.
You know, and it's been different, different parts of the year.
All right, family. Good evening and welcome to True Love Movement Tuesdays, the live version. If you're already tuned in to WBOK 1230 M, Real Talk for Real Times, the rebroadcast was playing here just to kind of get us into this thing. We'd like to welcome everybody this wet Tuesday, July 30th, 2019 here in New Orleans. What's happening, Mama Fiyah? Right on. We got Mama Fiyah on the boards, family. This is a do for self. WBOK. Right on. So we good over there? I think. All right. Cool. So if you're joining us just now, again, this is True Love Movement Tuesdays, family. There's so many things happening here in the city of New Orleans, and we are honored that you have chosen to ride with us this evening. We know because it's raining. We know that many of you may be hopefully indoors and safe and dry. We hope. And doing what you need to do to get out of this weather. You know, shout out to our Facebook Live family. Simply, if you like the True Love Movement page on Facebook, you can join the live and see us here, right here live in the studio. Right now as this is happening, and of course correspond with us on the live feed. And you know, we're honored to have you. There's so many things happening here in the city of New Orleans, rain aside. And so we're grateful that you have chosen to ride with us. And shout out to our folks listening, you know, out of state. We got folks listening to True Love Movement Tuesdays actually all over the world now. So shout out to you, and we give thanks. We hope that today has met expectations. That's been a theme folks I've been working with today, about expectations and what have you. And so, again, so many ways to join, so many ways to connect. You can like us on the again True Love Movement page on Facebook, the WBOK 1230 M app, which is available on Google Play, and then the of course on your AM dial at 1230 AM. You know, and then of course on the World Wide Web at www.WBOK1230m.com. And for those of you who are just joining us, we're getting set up. This is live radio, family, the way we like it, the way you deserve it. And through the course of that, shout out to Mama Fiyah for getting us on the air.
All right.
And there is, you know, with full transparency, even on a rainy day, there's some question about it, but our last few minutes were captured on the airwaves. We know our Facebook Live family was there for it. But if you missed that, we didn't have the our usual theme music come in, the jingle, the drop it in Jules, yeah, with Mama Fiyah to bring us in. But Mama Fiyah brought us in for real, all over there on the boards behind the glass. And so we are very, very grateful for her and her expertise, family, because had it been up to me, I'd be in here talking to myself, because I don't know how to cut it on.
Please be patient with us, you know?
Yeah.
And thankful to WBOK 1230 AM, Real Talk for Real Times.
It's real talk.
It's real.
This
it's
is
real up in here.
This is the realest talk. And so, yeah, this nice kind of rainy July 30th, 2019 here in New Orleans on WBOK. We like to welcome y'all and giving some folks some time to come into the Facebook Live on the True Love Movement page. You're welcome to do that. Simply like the True Love Movement page on Facebook if you want to see us. And if you're content to hear us, again, you can catch us on your AM dial 1230 and the web at www.wbok1230m.com and the app, the Google Play, the WBOK app available in Google Play and the App Store on Apple. So what's happening now that you have got us, kicking in real color, in living color, on the airwaves?
Having a good day, Brother Shay. It's a little rainy, but we've still been doing great work.
Yes.
Today, pulling down walls, walls and reminding people that healing doesn't stop.
No.
There is no time where you're just great and perfect and things are, without any issues. We're in the belly of the beast.
Right.
We're here in America KK. We're in the belly of the beast. And we, how can we heal in an environment that made us sick? We talk about that all the time.
That's right.
You can, constantly.
Right.
We said the way you heal is constantly or consistently.
Consistently.
Meaning like every day should be a healing day, should be a self-discovery day, should be a day that you decide to change, should be a day that you decide to do something different, than you've done before. And so that's been a theme this week. Every week there's a theme, and it's been like, we're thinking if we do this, then we'll be healed.
Right.
And healing is consistent here, where we are, and not to feel bad about that. And I'm so much better than I ever was. But I'm excited to think about how good I can be, as I am still discovering things that need to shift, paradigms that need to shift. So people who are going around talking about they're perfect and everything is all good, yeah, it might be good, but we're still working. Everybody's still working.
Yeah, I know it's exhausting. Shout out to our brother Brian Foy for joining us.
Yeah.
Truth Ambassador.
Hey.
See, we got our sister Amtrice Co-op.
What's happening, sister?
Well.
Doing beautiful things. Breaking down barriers in the education system here in New Orleans.
And share this show with folks that you respect and people you think that will enjoy the message and could also contribute to the conversation. That we appreciate that so much, family.
Yeah.
More than you may know, because we don't take this opportunity lightly to be here with you every Tuesday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. On WBOK. We are grateful for it. We are grateful for the last 6 years, essentially, on WBOK with
It'll be 6 years in November, won't it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Very, very near. So we're honored. We're honored, we're grateful, and this is not something, again, that we take lightly or squander. So, again, please share this show with folks that you respect. You can check out some of the previous shows on the True Love Movement page and the archives, on the YouTube channel, and what have you. And, as our brother Brian uses it, the way it's intended to be is teaching tools,
Yeah.
The brother he goes back in time a lot of times, and many folk do too, Mama Fiyah. They talk about their favorite shows. I know we've even had shows that talked about favorite shows of ours and looking back, and that's I think a great segue too to talk a little bit about what's happening with True Love Movement right now, because we're talking about what has happened with True Love Movement. Talking about our story today on True Love Movement Tuesdays. Not his story, but our story, the True Love Movement story, which we think is important. You know, there is a lot of things that have occurred that make this possible, to make this happen, and even make it desirable. And so, you know, we're going to spend some time today talking about that in preparation for Sunday. What's happening Sunday, Mama Fiyah?
Well, Sunday is a celebration.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm excited about the celebration, Brother Shag. So we're celebrating both of our New Year's,
Yeah.
or birthdays. Mine, we had set this up for my birthday. I just felt like having a party, and we were making it also a fundraiser for True Love Movement.
Right.
And because of the weather situation that happened with Hurricane Barry.
Say that again. How did you say it?
You see that?
I noticed you have a certain way
I got that face.
that you talk about Hurricane Barry.
You know, because it was just well, we're happy it didn't go down like it could have, like they were kind of saying it would have, but we just had to postpone it, and so we postponed it for this Sunday, August 4th, right there at Cafe Istanbul, and we're gonna celebrate my birthday. We're gonna celebrate your birthday, Brother Shag, and also have a fundraiser for True Love Movement.
That's right.
And so I know things are tight right now. This is, we know that things are tight for our people, period. That's why we've never had a fundraiser.
Never.
Yeah, we never.
Not one time.
And it's not that we didn't need one. It's just that, we didn't want to ask, know. And that's the truth. The truth of the matter is money is a sore subject for many of us.
Right.
But there are some things that True Love Movement needs to do, and we're beloved in the community because we love the community.
That's
and so in that case, let's just put our little money together and come on through. It's going to be a great show.
That's right.
And a celebration of me, a celebration of you, Brother Shag, for all the people that we've touched, and supported and honored and went to bat for and had their back, and if they needed anything, we were there in the best capacity we could be.
That's right.
And so this is just a way, like when Community Book Center, and I'm not trying to compare us to them, but I'm just saying when they have a fundraiser, people show up.
That's right.
And
we show up.
Yes, we do. We love Community Book Center. We love our sisters, and it's a Black-owned business, and we need to support them. And that's our mamas, are community mamas, and we want them to stay here in the New Orleans community. We want them to continue the legacy of what they do for us in the community, what they do for our people. And so the same thing goes for True Love Movement.
That's right.
Yeah, same thing goes for us. And we ain't begging. We just saying, come on through.
Yeah.
Come on through if you'd like to support a Black-owned business doing this mental health work here in the community, as well as the other ways that we support our people.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because in family, listen, it is work, and it is also an act of resistance to do this work and to do this kind of work.
Yes, it is.
In this way that we do the work, and here in New Orleans. I mean, there's so many layers to it that make it, make it an act of resistance, make it something that's very, very purposeful, and something that has required a tremendous amount of devotion and dedication and patience and all of the other things that are required to cultivate a fortitude to survive.
Yeah.
Just like and much like all of the other people who are like us, here in New Orleans and beyond. So, yeah, and it's not just simply, like you just said, begging. No one's doing that. You're being offered a really great show, Mama Fiyah, right?
Oh, yes.
Because you talk a little bit about how serious the show is, because the show is serious, family.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, so a while ago, I would say maybe about 3 or 4 years ago, I told you about an idea that I had to put some powerful sisters together.
Right.
And wanted to have it as a concert type of vibration, not so much will manifest or anything like that, but like a concert
Right.
that just displayed the beauty and gifts and talents of like creative artists who, who just shine. And so that has come into fruition as the series of Serious Sisters, where we get some serious sisters together. And we have a series of this one concert where you can come see them perform, come hear their new music, come, really get a good understanding of what they do. And we're doing the hip hop, excuse me, the hip hop version. Right. Again, because we did it for Womanifest. We did a concert for Womanifest. It was really great.
That was a hit.
Yeah.
Family, if you were there and you caught that performance, you had a treat. And I would say if you missed that performance, you missed out on some magic that, can certainly be recreated, but it was just so special, particularly the way it was folded into Womanifest that way, because Womanifest, has a history and a story, all of it, all on its own, and because of is it safe to say that because of Womanifest, the realization of the series of Serious Sisters, kind of was expedited or accelerated?
Yeah, definitely. I think it was just about time. And it's not a part. It was a part of Womanifest, but it's not because of Womanifest. I'd say it was, just something that I wanted to see.
Right.
I just love live shows. I like to watch live music and performers and performances, and it's if you watch a show, I'm not going to take my eyes off them. Right. Because it's amazing to me. It's amazing for me to do it, but also just to witness. And so I'd like to take this wherever, as far as it will go, as far as shining a light on my sisters, especially in hip hop, because hip hop is a genre that people don't readily expect women to do. That's right. Let alone and come all seven, including myself, and including our special guest Sonny Patterson, all seven of us are unique. Right. Not one of us are just like the other, and a lot in hip hop right now, sisters are very similar to each other. Everybody's got nasty, they got that nasty girl thing down pat. They talking about sex, in a powerful way. They're talking about money in a powerful way. I mean, it's very, very similar. If you listen to a Cardi B or a Nicki Minaj, or you listen to all these new kind of sisters that's coming into the mix, not all of them, but the mainstream ones, are it's the same scenario, same kind of, you exerting your power this way. I'm not mad at the sisters. Exert your power, sis, like whatever you need to do. But it's nice to see a variety of sisters, a variety of the way sisters look, the way they rap, of the way how they use the microphone and how they use, hip hop as a tool. And it's powerful, this series of women who, this is what we do. This is what we love to do and what we're good at. And so the series of Serious Sisters will be performing. That's right. On Sunday at Cafe Istanbul as a fundraiser for True Love Movement. That's right. And a celebration of both me and Brother Shaq's New Year. That's right. A lot of transitioning happening right now in this minute. And so we promised to bring a show and a space of good vibes. That's right. That's real good vibes. We're gonna bless the space and just be there to welcome everybody who comes through to support True Love Movement. And then I'm gonna be performing with the Free Souls, Brother Shaq. Yeah. Mama Fiyah and the Free Souls. And the Free Souls,
Back together again.
Yeah,
there's a history right there.
Yeah, and we're gonna do some Liberation Lounge type. That's right. Type vibes, just for fun, And I wanted to ask you. I don't want to put you on the spot.
Don't want to put me on the spot. I guess we're on the radio right now. And on Facebook Live.
Yes.
Don't want to put me on the spot.
Well, listen, answer truthfully.
That's the only way I can answer.
That's right. It's the only way you ever should. But will you play the cowbell?
The cowbell?
Yeah. Well, I got two things to ask.
Well,
If you'll play the cowbell, you don't have to answer now.
okay.
And if you'll host the show.
Play the cowbell and host the show.
Yes, well, you know you can host the show if you can host the True Love Movement Hour.
Oh, no, I don't have
True
any-
Love Movement Tuesdays.
I don't have any doubt about being able to host the show.
Yeah.
That's not a problem. But if you so will it, you so desire, yes, I will do both.
Because, well, it's your birthday, you know, so you also need to relax and enjoy the show.
Mhm.
But I wanted you to be a part of this beautiful lineup, you know, in reminiscent of Liberation
the
Lounge
old
and Black
days,
Star.
yeah.
The Brother Shack in the back with the cowbell.
Yeah, the cowbell, man, that's magical.
Yeah. What you think?
A lot of folk don't know what we talking about. The folk who didn't come through Liberation Lounge, you know, shout out to Black Star and Bakir and Nicole and, you know, back in the day.
Yeah, shout out to Ari. She was the one who came up with that concept,
Right.
Liberation Lounge.
Right,
Yeah.
so see that history, their family, there's so much to our stories. And part of the reason, you know, this is just a long way to say yes, but part of the reason why
Yay!
why this is really worth talking about is because we are so much in the present and we're so much responding to the conditions of now, and that we're distant from the things that brought us to now. And we don't stop often enough to celebrate those things.
Yeah.
You know, or sometimes we don't even recognize those as things being worth celebrating, because we are struggling with or wrestling with whatever is happening in the now, and we're responding to very real things and very real and sometimes dire circumstances that are critical. So we're not minimizing. We're definitely not minimizing anyone's suffering or anyone's situation. We're simply saying, as a way to round that out and bring balance to it, we're offering something that is not just a thing, but an opportunity to really appreciate yourself in the moment too. And we're doing that very intentionally and very deliberately, as well as folding it into, you know, a fundraiser for True Love Movement, who also is here as a part of New Orleans community, as a part of the healing work that's done in New Orleans, who itself is part of a long-standing history of evolution, or our story. And we do have our story, right, Longvine?
Yes, we do.
You know, and so we know for us and for you all, those folks who are listening and those folks who are watching and those folks who have engaged with True Love Movement in ways that have improved their condition, whether they were cognizant of it or not. Because that's the other part too. There's some things that are just interactions or different engagements that happen that people may not readily connect with, that can change their trajectory. You know, they can hear something and have a profound effect on other people because of an interaction that they had somewhere else. And we know, because folks tell us that. They tell us directly sometimes, Mama Fiyah, and they'll often tell us indirectly by regurgitating something or restating something or repackaging it in a way that we know where they got it from. So here's a time to be purposeful and also to be together doing it. You know, and that energy of, you know, like you know, liberation. Whenever you talk about Liberation Lounge and Black Star and those things and the Free Souls, and there's so many memories to that, man. Sunday evenings were so special for so long.
Yeah.
You know,
It was very special to me.
Yeah.
It was very therapeutic for me, and I was always welcomed and always supported to do whatever I wanted to do, and that I was and everybody else was, and
right.
And that's good for us, for our people who haven't been able to say what we needed to say, or haven't been able to use our voices, you know.
That's
so
right.
yeah, very, very, very good. And we documented a lot of that on the True Love Movement Hour. We talk about, all right, we see y'all Sunday, and we always
Lounge for years.
advertise it, you know, and that kind of thing. So, and it's not that that's what we're doing on Sunday, but we definitely, you know, rekindling some of the beautiful history that we created back then. And another theme for the week has been history, you know, and you are True Love Movement's own historian. And thank you for being that. You know, sometimes I like to forget about history and just look toward the future, but you can't. You know, what America has shown us is that it does a lot of damage to just forget about history, or to erase history, or to at least try to erase history. It does a lot of damage, you know, to people and people's minds and stuff like that. So that's been another theme this week, talking about like why history is important, you know, even though it was ugly. You know, if our history was important, it's still important to remember that, so that we are grateful and have gratitude for the present and the future.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I like that. I like that idea of not being dismissive towards history, to find the nuggets in it, because there's much more. Some folks say, well, you know, if you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it. You know, definitely on a certain level, but there's a lot in there. There's a lot of depth to not just the repetition of it, but it's like when I can really come to understand like my own personal history, our collective history, and how those things are interrelated, and how they produce what we're experiencing right now, that helps my sane mind.
Yeah.
You know, it helps my sane mind, because I'm reminded that, you know, I didn't necessarily cause all of this. I have, you know, been complicit in the creation and co-creation of a great many things, you know, knowingly and unknowingly, you know, wittingly and unwittingly, and those are factual things. But that the observance of the history gives me some sense of continuity of the process by how things come to be, or have come to be the way that they are, so that I can at least make adjustments forward if in fact, you know, they're warranted. I can at least evaluate what has happened. And so, but I also too, simultaneously, you have been the rugged, and I'm saying rugged is the right word, the rugged Afrofuturist, because rugged in that the idea of imagining a future that isn't in our current reality.
Yeah.
And doing that with detail and not just fantasy, but with continuity on how you get to there from here, and what the things are that are going to propel that forward, and even the things that can act as impediments in getting there. You know, you're very keen on those, and that you've asserted that throughout the course of time to say, and, you know, not just the history, and just the history is important. We just got to look at the history, but to be able to understand and navigate from the past into the present in a way that creates a future that is in very much so in the hearts and minds of our people, and certainly in your own heart. That is with dexterity. I mean, that's a different kind of skill.
Yeah.
And
that's why we're so good together.
Yeah, and a much needed skill. So we're doing something very un-American, family. I want to say that now. We're doing something where we're holding up and lifting up both history and Afrofuturists while we're in the present. And that's un-American, because America will only do one or the other, and it will put one in conflict with the other, and force some competition between one or the other, which one is more important or more valuable.
Conflict.
The conflict. And so that we are free of conflict, because it is true, it is totally true and totally factual that both of these things are of, at minimal, equal importance, but certainly not superior in any way to the other. So, so check that. That's a lesson, family. We just say we dropped a big jewel. We didn't need the theme music this time to drop a jewel. We dropped a jewel just now about holding up history or our story in the same regard as we're holding up the potential and the promise of our future. Taking the Sankofa bird and shifting all the way around the whole 180 on it. So,
Mm-hmm.
but you say, Mama Fiyah.
Yeah, I think Sankofa, Sankofa is important, and that's definitely part of healing. Being able to look back in your own history, and no matter how ugly it is, to do that self-reflection. Shout out to the Mirror Work blog. Yeah, we're up to part 4, and it's a gift that I've been giving to Self-Care Summer 2019. What we needed this summer. Last summer we did a lot of events. Yeah, events that people would come to in honor of self-care and learning ways to take care of themselves. We did yoga. We did a cipher. Yeah, we went under the bridge one day, and we went to Ital Garden to like meet and eat and fellowship with each other last year. And so this year, man, Brother Shaq, exhausted is not the word. Will manifest, between will manifest and other things, we were tired, and so I decided my gift would be doing something that I love to do, which is self-care, which is right, and then dropping some serious jewels on this mirror work concept that I didn't create, but I've
honed it.
Well, yeah, I mean, Louise Hay created mirror work, which is she really just put a name on working in the mirror, but it's only on one level. It's like saying I am good enough in the mirror, affirmations and those kind of things, where taking mirror work to a whole nother level for us specifically, for our people specifically, because Louise Hay isn't our people. So, but yeah, I would love some feedback on this, because I'm excited about writing and about sharing this information in a way that can bring some clarity, but also like support and healing to those who read it.
Right.
And so the link is on social media. It's on Instagram.
We can put it in there, can't we?
Yeah. Okay. We can surely put it in the Facebook thread. But, it's truelovemovement.com. Yeah. Let's get that. Let's just say it out loud, the link, if you press on it. Oh, Mirror Work with Black Women and Girls. Part 1 in the 7-part series is Self-Care Summer 2019. So
it's all that.
Yeah, it's all of that. So definitely, if you're interested and you're not on social media, just text Brother Shakarai and we'll send you the link out so that you can look at it either on your computer or on your phone. And I know people don't read. Brother Shaq, do people read? I gotta say, people read.
Sometimes the reading is a little bit of a struggle for our people, and I'm gonna say this: I have some ideas about why.
Okay, let's get it. Why? Because this is reading, and it's easy reading.
None of it's hard.
None of it's hard on purpose. Yeah.
But I want to thank you for sticking with it, because I know the internal off-air, off-camera, or away from folk struggles and hurdles involved with continuing to do something that isn't always immediately reaffirming.
Yeah, I think it's not getting a lot of response.
And I think people should know and hear that we both do, individually and collectively, like with True Love Movement, and that, again, part of the reason why there's a need for some history or our story and the fundraiser, frankly, just because folk aren't necessarily sure, and so they have some ideas and some thoughts, but it isn't until they really come in contact personally do they have a much better understanding about True Love Movement, what it is, how it works, and what it really does, and then what sets it apart from many of the other things. And it is such a thing that is very difficult to articulate in words, be it written, spoken, or otherwise. And so this is a tribal thing. Like, folk who are ready for it receive it and get it. So shout out to Sonia Maria, shout out to Fiona Strong, shout out to Akil Alameen for joining us in
Hey,
the
family.
Facebook Live, and also folks for Rowena K just shared it, and we shout you out, we're citing the power,
That's
like
right.
last week's show,
Yeah.
but Mama Fiyah, and I sure hope our people are listening to this, because I think that what I'm getting ready to say is useful. That's the only reason I'm saying it. But, for the ways that we have come to think about ourselves individually in this oppressive, racist society, as people who are politically designated as black, the ways that we come to do that is also the same ways that we think about others of us who are politically designated as black. So
Yeah.
it's like, if no one's really ever lifted up my voice and reaffirmed my voice and my words,
Yeah.
and I've just not had that experience, that I've not even known to have that experience. I've not known that I didn't have it. Like, it was just not a part of my growth and development at any age, but particularly in the formative years. If I've not had that, then I haven't had the opportunity to connect with the words and thoughts and feelings of other people in their various forms of expressions. So I'm not able to appreciate what's being offered, simply because I've not been acquainted with it. And what that means for us is, either way, folk ain't interacting or don't seem to be interacting.
Yeah.
And when they don't seem to be interacting, it really gives us pause as human beings to say, are my words valued? Like, yeah, I know this stuff. Yeah, I feel this stuff. Yeah, I've used it and am using it, and I'm realizing tremendous relief in using it, in growth and expansion and personal development, and I'm here out of love to share. Is it desired? Or are people even positioned to be able to desire it? And the fact that it goes into the vacuum of the abyss of the social media virtual world,
Yeah.
oftentimes there ain't a lot of dialogue with it. It kind of goes off, right, Mama Fiyah, like a monologue. And there's some hoping that, there's impact or what have you. And we're reassured from time to time, but it isn't a continuous flow or current or currency that says, yeah, I feel that resonates, I use it. And so I'm just saying to folk now who can hear me or who are watching, to check out the blog, because it's very thoughtful. And I'm saying this to everyone, black men and black boys included. I share this with all the brothers that I see and work with pride, not prejudice, but with pride, because though the blog is titled Hey Little Sister, and the thought was, specifically formulated for the cultural and collective likelihood of plethora of experiences for black women and girls, it very, very much so expands beyond that very limited scope to what's happening with black men and boys.
Definitely. We're not as different as we think,
No.
and we're complementary. So we're one whole. We're whole ourselves, and we're whole together. And so our movement should be whole. Our movement should be together. And this is what I know. We do genderized work, Brother Shaq.
We do.
But we're using the same formulas, we're using the same formulas. So when we come together, we have a shared language and a shared experience, so that we can do it for ourselves and each other.
Right.
And so, yeah, mirror work. Hey Little Sister is my heart. Like, it's my mission to support and uplift black women and girls. And but it's for everyone. The lessons are for everyone, not specifically for people with wombs,
Right.
even though I do honor that, even without that, we need to be doing this work together for ourselves. It's a really personal journey. It's a really personal thing. And this is what I know. Whatever I'm touched and inspired to do, it will be utilized. If it's not being read now, it will be.
Definitely.
Yeah, it will be. So I can't hold anything back when I'm inspired to do work and to write.
Right.
You know, things that are for healing. You know, the healing purposes. And I don't know what people think, and it doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter what people think, but it is good work.
It is definitely good work,
Yeah.
and I think it matters what people think. It just doesn't matter to the process or the inevitability of the work being birthed and coming forward. That's going to happen regardless. But what people think does matter, but not to the point where there's going to be any challenge or any conflict with your integrity. And I think folks should know that. And but I would again say that the work is very heartfelt, and it is hard work, and it's sincere. It's so sincere, and it's really so helpful. The perhaps the greatest miss is, I'm telling you, family, there's so many things that our people are struggling with, so many things that you're struggling with right in this moment that we have written about, had a show about, blogged about, tweeted about. I mean, whatever the deal is, not because we're saying to you that we're your answer or we're your fix, but we're showing the universal application of these things, through our experience and offering that as a benefit. So some of the hell that we're catching, it isn't a must that it be caught. That there are many things in many places, in many areas, and people who are offering themselves to our people for the benefit of our people. And so, as if folk would say in the church, use me, Lord. You know what I'm saying? Like that we are in many ways, the vessels. You talked about the empty vessel and the filling of your own cup and those things. Those are jewels, Mama Fiyah. I remember I was there. Like I understand, there's so many places and so many times that, like, when you open your mouth, when you speak, you are dropping jewels. That's why that song is so poignant, because you be dropping them jewels, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Glad the New Orleans stood. Dropping them jewels, yeah.
Jewels. And they really are jewels. And when we say jewels, because it's like people treasure those. People treasure jewelry. People treasure diamonds and they call them precious stones and all. So that means that they're valued. They're valuable, and they're sought after, and they are rare. That's what makes it's rare. So it's not the mundane or the average or what everybody else is saying or what the pop culture is saying or what the American white dominant culture is saying. It's none of that. It's what you're saying, because you're led, in spirit to, you are inspired in offering up insight.
Yeah, and I've learned that through writing, that writing is good for me, and it's good for those who hear it, through authoring the 2 books, Runaway Girl and Keep It High, and that when you're being creative, because our art will help heal us every time, but when we're being creative and creating from the space of getting it out and listening to our spirit, that it's very, very healing, and it's healing for us and healing for everybody else who's reading it. And so, Brother Shaq, tell us about your book coming out real soon.
Oh man, thank you for that segue and opportunity. I was over here doing some other work.
Yeah.
And there you go. Grateful for the opportunity to talk about that work. See, that right there, Mama Fiyah, is a labor of love, and it has been. The Resolving Rape Culture book is nearest to completion as it's been, and frankly, it has taken so long because it's really been working on me, and in doing it, I've had to deal with and admit so many things about my own experiences and my own life and my own behavior and my own attitudes and thoughts and ideas about black women and black girls, and the rightness and correctness of the political treatment and of them by me and of course the world at large, and so much so that it's going to be a really fascinating book and it is fortunately easier to read than I was thinking. I wasn't trying to make it difficult to read, but I know that when you have a book titled Resolving Rape Culture, that's going to be met with some skepticism.
Yeah.
Because there are folk who complain and pontificate and talk about the injustice or the horrible thing of rape culture, but some of those folk have been convinced that there ain't no changing it, there ain't no turning back, and have sought solace in the fight of it, the fight of trying to get it, but I realized something this morning, speaking about that book, Mama Fiyah, I got this in the shower, and I said that, and I wrote it down to go into the book. Not sure where I'm going to place it, but the thought really came to me that the word about, how we always talk about, not us on the True Love Movement out, but those of us who come from a black nationalist background, or black nationalists, or Pan-Africanists, or organizers and activists and antagonists and all those kinds of things.
Yeah.
We talk about the word, and we use the word revolution a lot, and we talk about revolutionaries, and the revolution will not be televised. Our brother Gil Scott-Heron and
Rise and Power King.
Rise and Power, that brother citing the power, because that's just been said and said over and over and over because of what it meant. And a lot of it is really just empty rhetoric. It's really lip service, and I'm not being critical of our people who talk revolutionary talk, because I'm not, because I know that in the talking of the revolutionary talk, there's something real in it. There's something very genuine, something very sincere, and it reflects a lot of pain. And so I know that that's real. But I was thinking about, folk talk about, when you're talking about revolutions and revolutionaries throughout the history of the contact with, those folk who have come to be called white in America from Europe and throughout the world and throughout history, and it isn't limited obviously to that, but I'm talking about just in that particular schema, this idea of revolutionary has been overused, I think.
Definitely.
In the same way, that the concept of freedom fighters, because the revolutionaries are the freedom fighters, right? You hear revolutionary, you hear freedom fighters, and people are fighting for their freedom, and sometimes it even sounds like really majestic, almost, and like it's something to do, something to be. Freedom fighter, somebody fighting for their freedom. But I realized in the shower this morning, my subconscious, my spirit, however we like to refer to it, said, the real freedom fighters, the true freedom fighters that I know, are only, and the most freedom fighters, like for real, are black women.
Oh, wow.
That
I didn't expect that, Brother Shay.
Well, what I'm saying, I thought from the historical standpoint and looking through the book and working in the book, ain't nobody fought for their freedom and been denied it. No one has fought for their freedom and continues to fight for their freedom to this very minute. And not only have they been denied it, but they've been invisibilized in their struggle for it. Because of the necessity of that bondage, that the whole world is running off the back of the black woman. That is part of the cog in the wheel. That is the cog, and so looking at how she's been trampled and you know, her neck and her back have been trampled. Her cry and her fight for freedom is on a different kind of level than anybody else's, because no one's been oppressed that way. No one's been oppressed that way. And so
I think that's debatable. I'm glad you're saying that. I really didn't expect you to. And I would love to get a whole bunch of black men who believe in revolution to sit down and hear that and hear it from you. But yeah, I appreciate that. I do. But also, you know, there's so many black men revolutionaries, or quote unquote revolutionaries. I never did like the word, just because back when I started doing community activism work or community organizing work, everyone was calling themselves one.
Right.
You know, I'm a revolutionary, and but what I didn't see was the revolutionary self-work, or the self-evolutionary, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
I didn't see that work happening. It's so easy to see what needs to be done outside of us.
Right.
And that will never come to pass until we do the self-work it takes to, you know, to really break yourself down. You know, how could you be a revolutionary in the land that, you know, captured you and kidnapped you? And, you know, how could you? Now, you can resist and understand that, but until you're able to do something completely different, then, you know, because to me, that's what revolution is. That's what being a revolutionary is. You doing completely different.
Right.
You know, you're not the same, you know, and so, I mean, I don't know about that. I know what you're saying about black women, and I appreciate that support and that love, but, you know, is that coming from a place of wanting to honor black women, or is it really the truth?
I think it's coming from a place that is the truth, and it's a painful truth, particularly as a black man, to make the admission that A, that is true, and B, I'm complicit in that, and then C, to the degree that I am complicit in it, perhaps okay with it on certain levels because of the arrangement that it has produced. You know, and I'm saying, just to go a little deeper on that, looking, and it's not in competition to oppression for anyone else, but I'm just saying through the American experience, and really looking at it, and looking at me in it, and looking at other people in it, you know, who are not those women who are politically designated as black, I see that all have really benefited from it. All have benefited from it in ways that those women who are politically designated as black have never, and really could never, because of their sacrifice or their subjugation, because it's not that they're sacrificing themselves, they're being subjugated. And they have been, and consistently so, to the point where it's a necessity, because as the divine feminine energy is sweeping through the planet to bring itself back into alignment, what is happening is there is a rise, and there's always been rises of the feminine and the divine feminine. But if we looked at it if we personalized it and say this black woman who's been trampled into the ground to the point where her back is just rugged terrain that needs to be navigated, that it's just rough. And so as she's rising up, she rises up rough. And people say, hey, no. There you go, being angry. You tripping. Slow down, chill out. Don't be like that. I ain't do you nothing. And without acknowledging how she became that way and who benefited from that. That's a hard thing to really look at. That's a hard thing for me to look at. But it ain't no harder for me to look at than it has been for sisters to live throughout the ages. So I'm saying, ain't nobody fighting for freedom like those women who are politically designated as black. They are fighting, like literally, it's a fight. It's a fight like no other fight. And it's a fight, and the only reason I think that fight, well, I don't think, I'm just deducing that fight is as intense as it is because there has been manufactured a need for things to remain as they've been. And that's tough. That's really tough. And of course, the book deals with all kinds of things, but that came to me really, really clear. And that's what I'm saying. This is why the book take long to put out, because I gotta sit with that and say, damn, I'm in that. I'm in that, and it isn't even a matter of me saying, well, that's wrong, that's bad, you shouldn't be that way. There's a very complicated web of thought that been born out of historical action that have made that normative, and me internalize it and socialize everybody else. So it isn't just as simple as saying, yeah, that's messed up, man, because that doesn't produce any liberation for the freedom fighter. So it's not as simple as doing that. So it is complicated, it's complex. Mm-hmm. It is a struggle. It's a struggle to look at and deal with, and so I'm excited though to be releasing it, at least to have some other folks struggle with me, so we can struggle together and continue the struggle that has been there long before I conceived of the book, long before you inspired the book, and offer up a more concise and expanded definition of rape culture that is encompassing and really does identify and honor the persistent and unique oppression suffered by, those women who are now politically designated as black, and those girls also.
Yeah.
So
I get it. I mean, I think that needs to be a community healing conversation. I guess once the book comes out, we can kind of pull it apart and look at all the different themes to now to be informed on, but also like healed. As a community, we do this work together. So I want to thank you because that flipped it for me. As far as revolutionary, the term in freedom fighters is concerned, I think we should do away with that that language, just right. Because we are all struggling and fighting in a way. We're all trying to evolve, and we're all trying to get better, and we're all trying to heal, and that kind of puts someone up on a pedestal. I always stayed away from calling myself that. Now some people would call me that or call you that, but I don't need that title. I don't need the title. I just need to do the work. I don't need somebody to say, well, you this and that, and we got to stay away from all that ego stuff, because it messes us up all the time. We think, you are helping people and you're fighting, and so you're now this way up on this pedestal, without saying, I'm just like you. We're together. We got what I got, you got. I got the ability to do that work. And the most revolutionary minded person is somebody that's really going deep with themselves and saying, I have the ability to change myself, and then help others see how I changed myself so they can change themselves. And it's happening. It's happening regardless of the name or the title. I just think back in the day, we do that for our revolutionaries. We do that for our Malcolm X and our, Harriet Tubman. Thinking about Harriet Tubman, thinking about that movie and how everybody talking about that. Coming out.
What's that about?
About the movie? The Harriet Tubman movie?
There's a Harriet Tubman movie?
There's a Harriet Tubman movie coming out. We put these people, our people on a pedestal when she just did what needed to be done. She just did what she was on a mission to do. She did what she was spiritually led to do.
I did not know. I'm dealing with it. I did not know.
Yeah.
Because that helps the Facebook.
Okay. It has some feedback to it, but
I didn't know about the movie. I
don't know the name of it, but I know the trailer came out this week, and she's a very special ancestor to me, just a very special figure, historical figure for me and for my sisters and for our people, what we know of her. And I'm always very wary of history because they've lied so much.
Right.
That whatever they gave us, I know she was 1,000 times tremendous. You know, 1,000 times more tremendous.
Right.
But yeah, they have. You know, people are saying that about time they came out with a movie like this, people are saying, oh, you know, I don't trust it because the leading actress is a woman from England or
okay.
Great Britain or something. They call her a Brit.
I guess I've been missing out. I don't know.
Well, you know, whenever Harry Tubman's very special.
Right,
Harry Tubman's very special to me, so
I'm delighted to
I definitely saw the trailer and been kind of talking about it on social media a little bit,
okay.
You know, sharing. People on Twitter, you know, Black Twitter's a trip, man. I don't know how I would feel if I was really, truly engaged on Twitter, but they're saying they're boycotting. Of course, you know how people do, boycotting the Harriet Tubman movie because she's the leading actress is not a descendant of American slavery. They're calling it DOAS, descendant of American slavery. I mean, it's kind of, I don't know. We got to be careful. We got to be careful of social media because we never know how these things get drummed up.
Right.
You know, we never know who starts this stuff, and then a big wave of it happens until people, unless people really sit down with it themselves.
Right.
Instead of trying to one up people on social media and that kind of thing. But anyway, yeah. So I'm excited to see the movie.
Okay.
It's just going to be like Birth of a Nation, seeing the Nat Turner movie.
Right. I remember we saw that.
We brought our notebooks, because we know we're not going there to have somebody pour something into us. We're going there to see how Hollywood done put all kind of padding and propaganda on it for the Black people that want to go see their heroes on the screen.
Yeah.
We're clear, that Hollywood don't have anything for us.
No.
That we have to create things for ourselves if we want to tell true stories, for our people. So, whenever we go see any movie, we're decoding it from that lens. And
right on.
So anyway, yeah.
And that's thanks to you too. I wanted to just throw that in there to cite the power that because of you, I can no longer watch movies the same.
You always looking for it.
I cannot. Family, if you've never decoded a movie, I encourage you to. And it's,
decode everything.
I mean, decode everything, but because we decode, since we don't have no TV, I guess it kind of heightens some of the awareness. But when I was, looking at a print ad somewhere or a billboard or whatever, there are things that I know that I see because I'm looking at it a certain way. But it's really because you really helped heighten and cultivate that awareness in a way that now I can again do that. It's a skill, but it's also a tool. It's a skill and a tool that helps to again reconnect me with my sanity.
Yeah, I mean, you're a smart man. You picked it up fast.
Well, yeah,
you're a smart man.
I like to say I'm a apt pupil. I'm a good student, and you're a phenomenal teacher.
Aww.
But to cite the power, like last week's show,
yeah.
that's important. So when y'all hear me talking about decoding movies, though I can do it very well and I'm adept at decoding whatever, I hadn't really done that before you introduced it to me. And so I want to cite the power to give you the credit for that, but I want our listeners and our viewers to understand that that's the way growth really happens for all of us, and that there are people who are far and near who are really opening doors to our elevation if we will walk through them.
Yes.
And as we are walking through them, or once we get on the other side of the door and we see how big and how vast and how wide and how beautiful the room is, it's also important that we offer up gratitude and thanks to those people for doing that for us, because they didn't have that to do. Or maybe they did. Maybe their spirit wouldn't let them do otherwise, but it's part of that's a real gift. That's a gift, and so we should honor that. And to go back to what we were talking about with the blog and where we were going with that, if you all missed it, was the idea that when you through the exercise, when you become accustomed to being affirmed and reaffirmed and your words mattering, you'll read the writings and work of your contemporaries and others through a different lens, through a loving lens, oh wow, I never thought about that. Oh yeah, I'm on that. I'm all of it with y'all, or whatever. But you'll have something because you'll be able to find yourself in it because you've honored yourself already.
Yeah. And you know, to take it to another level, like if to decode it, you
Right.
know, I mean, anybody's thoughts are their own opinions, you know, and that's hard for people who are hard based, you know, hard on facts. You know, it's got to be about facts.
Facts.
But what I really believe is that, you know, we're all like filters that everything runs through. And we filter things out differently. Like we look at things differently. We look at them from our experience, you know, from all we've gone through and all we've learned, and thereby, you know, a book is just a book of opinions. You know,
Right.
whatever you decide to, or even a blog or even any type of writing, is through that person's filter.
Mm-hmm.
And so. You know, it's important for us to remember that and take everything with a grain of salt, man. Take everything with a grain of salt. When you read the Mirror Work blog, everything might not resonate with you.
Right.
It might not, and that's okay. It's okay to say, this is how I look at that. Because then it might make you write a Mirror Work blog. You know, it might
Right.
inspire you to write something or inspire you to at least give it a try. And that's what I'm asking people in that blog or any writing that I do. Just give it a try.
Mm-hmm.
You know, write your own book.
Right.
Write your own, you know, like inspiring people to find the revolutionary in them.
Right.
You know, like our ancestors, yes, they need to be revered and honored, but really, like,
We are them.
we are them, return, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and those kind of things, but find the revolutionary in you for right now, right now in this part of history, this history that we're creating and that we're making. It's supposed to be for an inspiration, not so much a, you know, ooh, I love Harriet Tubman. Find the
Right.
Harriet Tubman in you.
Right.
Find the Malcolm X in you. Find, you know, be inspired by by, you know, our ancestors and by these quote unquote revolutionaries. And revolutionary just means move.
Right.
You know,
That's
to
it.
revolve means to move
Move around.
around. And so to be inspired to do that, you're gonna heal others just by that reaction, you know, that happens in you. So, Brother Shaq, it's already 5:11.
It's 5:11 on the True Love Movement Tuesdays here on WBOK 1230 AM. Real talk for real times without our good brother Jazz behind the boards, bringing in and ushering in the break. So we're gonna roll straight through Mama
Let's
Fiyah.
do
But I know
it.
you thinking, you might be thinking what I'm thinking, or maybe I was thinking what you were thinking. So I'm gonna let you, or invite you to go ahead and say what you were gonna say.
I don't know. Can you think about what I was thinking? I don't know what I was thinking. But
I was thinking about that water over there.
yeah, okay. Well, I got that one right though. But I was gonna give the call-in number 504-260-9265 for the solution line. And what we're talking about is the revolution today. You know, we're talking about revolutionary minds, revolutionary spirits, and what does that mean? And Brother Shaq dropped a whole bomb, you know, to really shift our paradigms about thinking like the real revolutionary is a black woman,
Right.
you know? And so,
Real freedom fighter for sure.
oh, real freedom fighters, yeah. So,
real-
you know, and revolutionary is a buzzword, Brother Shaq. It has been for some time. You know, I've heard people say evolutionary.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard, you know, and then evolution. We got to think about that. Is that even real? You know, like when we start thinking about, you know, did we evolve from apes and that kind of
Right, right.
thing? And then solutionary. I've heard that solutionary.
Uh-huh.
I like that.
I like that too.
But you know, why do we need these titles to
Oh,
just
yes.
be who we are naturally? If you want to help somebody, my people. Like, it ain't about look at me.
Right.
You know, it's about doing what spirits say do. You know, but first we gotta touch base with that thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And thinking about what you were describing is like, man, you know, I really I'm confident that I've come to know something about the answer. Not maybe the full, but something about it. Something that is the impediment to what you were talking about, even to honoring the words and to locating and cultivating the revolutionary in you. Like what is it about that eludes us? Because I know you're describing it in a very basic way, easy to understand. Doesn't sound like there's a whole lot involved. You didn't say nothing about you had to have the black leather jacket, the tam and the gloves and the black glasses and the big afro. You didn't say that. None of that was a prerequisite for doing that. So I was thinking that, man, brother, this is going to be perhaps an unnecessarily controversial statement that I don't intend to make. At least I don't intend to make it controversial. But when you say those things, you know, the solutionary in me is always thinking analytically, like, well, why don't we do that? What is it? What is that about? And the thing that resonates most for me, and I'm saying what resonates most for me before I put this on other folk, but I do think that it reverberates beyond me, is our orientation as those who are politically designated black to religion. I think that on a very fundamental way, I make that connection because religion for us was used as a tool to tell us what to do. To demand of us that we serve or suffer a penalty, to coerce us into, you know, disavowing who we were before coming in contact with that religion, to use it to cause us to be complicit in our own oppression. And it has always been used that way because it isn't ours. And this isn't no individual judgment on people or anybody's, you know, individual religion. But what I think had cultivated in us is a mechanism of codependency.
Religion?
Yeah. And I'm saying it was among some of the first larger scale social engineering tools to where we looked outside of ourselves and expected the right answer to be outside of ourselves. And what that did for us is put us in a state, a perpetual state of, tell me what to do, I'll do it. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. It made us soldiers. They used to say soldier in the army of the Lord, but it made us soldiers. And we in New Orleans, we got an affinity for the soldier. You know, you're a soldier. And being a soldier is of high regard. But they say a coward dies 1,000 deaths, a soldier dies but one. I mean, there's a lot of things that are said that uplift soldiers and soldiering above all. But I found there is some danger in that because a soldier, it requires orders from outside of themselves. A warrior is something different than a soldier. And this resonance of soldier and being a soldier and pride about being a soldier simultaneously says, give me the order, boss, and I'm going to execute it. I'll be an executive. I'll be an executioner. I'm a good soldier. And then receiving reward for that good soldiering puts us where we're just waiting. We're just in a holding pattern for the mission, for someone to translate it for us, prescribe it to us, or give it to us before we do anything. So then it means that we don't even trust ourselves. I don't trust my own mind because I don't really know. I need to consult with, I need to get this from outside. And we're not saying you should never consult with people. I'm just saying that it has put in our psyche a certain hollowness that we have sought to fill. So one of the things that you've said over the years And we see, even with dialogue with, the individual, group, and collective work that we do off the air, and even on the air, and even on the social medias, overwhelmingly, people want you to tell them what to do.
Yeah.
They want tell me what to do.
Just tell me what to do. And the thing about it is, you tell them what to do and they don't do it.
Right.
For one, I mean,
because they don't trust you, because you can't know.
No, it's hard work.
Right.
Because we're gonna tell you what to do. If you
right.
really want to know what to do, dig into yourself. How about that? And it's difficult when you've been taught that you're bad, and when you've been taught that you're not worthy and you're not good enough, and that's wrong. It's wrong to look at yourself in the mirror. It's wrong
right.
to do any selfish, it's selfish to do this kind of work. But yeah, I think you're right, Brother Shaq. They're just looking for, an authority, but an authority person to say, okay, all you got to do is this, this, and this. And they want also the guarantee.
Right. If I do that now, if I do this mirror work,
right,
this going to change my life, right? Because
it surely is. If you do it, consistently and in a committed way, you're going to find something in that mirror, Right. But yeah, religion, boy, I tell you, a lot of what I do is help people detox from, the things that they've learned, the things that they learned that were really just fairy tales or fantasy and myths. And I never talk to anybody specifically about their religion, but people come and saying that I still think that loving myself is wrong, right. Or I still think that, somebody's going to come and strike me down. I'm going to be struck down if I say this or if I do this.
Right.
People are still in bondage by that. And that,
sure.
They're always doubting themselves and second guessing, like, is this the right thing to do, instead of knowing themselves and knowing what's right.
Right.
So yeah, and I don't even mess with people's religion. People, True Love Move is not like that. Like,
not at all.
You could be Rastafari, come to True Love Move, you can be Christian, you can be
7-day
a Catholic,
Adventist,
you can be Jehovah's Witness, but I don't know, do Jehovah's Witnesses come to therapy? I don't know if they do, but anything, any philosophy,
any religious
it's up to you. It's
cool.
It's all good that, as long as you're black.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? As long as you're black and you want, you know what love is, and you want and desire love, or know that love is the answer, then True Love Movement is for you. But yeah, thanks for bringing that up. I think you said a whole bunch of stuff.
Well, I was thinking, but I was also feeling a bunch of stuff, and I'm like orienting myself to vocalizing the feeling of it too, and the fact that I was feeling it and honoring that I was feeling it, but not independent of other things, but just in addition to.
Yeah.
I was feeling that just because I know that's something that always comes up though for people, and eventually they say it that way, like they'll describe it the way you said it, that I know I'm supposed to, but man, I just can't really like sit with it because something troubles me about doing that, and that's an impediment. It ends up being an impediment. So really what we're just saying, at least what I'm saying, is that what we do is, since we don't have any kind of requisites in the ways that religions do, because religion just really means to reconnect, to realign. Like, that's what it is. And what people should understand about that is, it says that you're disconnected. So it tells you that you are disconnected and that you should reconnect. But it doesn't give you the authentic philosophy about why you're disconnected and who disconnected you and what they disconnected you from. They just present it to you as though you're lacking and you need to get yourself together.
Yes.
And so that does a number on our self-esteem.
Yes, it does.
And our ability to value ourselves and those like us in a particular way that serves as an impediment. And I'm just making it visible. I'm not saying nothing that people don't know, but I'm kind of saying it in a way This is not intended to be disparaging or contrary to anyone's religious belief and practice. And I know you know that, but I'm just stating that because True Love Movement will talk about things and that other folk don't talk about. And when you start talking about some of these things, people hear what they heard, not necessarily what you said. And then that can evoke certain things inside of them, and they can formulate opinions that are based not on what you said, but how they felt about what you said, but then bring that to you as though you had done something. And we're acquainted with that, and so we just want to be clear that we are lovers of all religions, because this is just whatever our these are expressions, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, the real. If we got to be real and talk about religion, the real reason and the only reason why religion is a topic for those of us who are in America now that are politically designated as black is because the African traditional spiritual systems that were with us in Africa before we were kidnapped and brought here served us well. They were good enough for us. They did what we needed to do. We had all these different things that served and suited us. But when they brought us here and they stripped our memory away, forbid us to practice and engage with those things that were natural to us, substituted that with their foreign thing, our feelers and antennas are still up and sensitive to grab hold of it, because we really need our spiritual bodies and spiritual connections and experiences.
Yes, we do.
In a way that those people who have come to be called white in America are not at all oriented to.
Yeah.
So the what they took from us created a major gap, and they've offered religion, and we've continued to fill it with that. I'm just saying, yes, and that has also produced in us this, you know, whatever I need, whatever I know, it's got to come from over there, because I don't know nothing. I ain't no good. I ain't blah, blah. And then I have this perpetual codependency that I need this thing. And, you know, we're just saying that in getting back your whole soul self and your whole humanity, there may be some reckoning with that. And many of our people are, quite frankly, they are reckoning with it in a way.
I agree. I mean, I was saying this, and it was very brave of me. A lot of the time I don't realize how brave I'm being when I'm led to speak on something until afterwards. And I'm like, oh, did I say that? We were on a panel about mental health one day, and somebody asked a question about God and religion, I think. I don't remember exactly the question, and you answered it. And I said, you know, no one wants to hear about God anymore. Like, no one wants to, you tell that to children, you know, and they turn their heads from you. And it isn't because the earth is the devil's, you know, is the devil's realm. It's just that they don't want you to tell them that anymore. They don't want anybody to tell them about God anymore. They don't want them to tell them you need to pray and you need to thank God and you need to, you know, these young people are coming out warriors. They coming to as warriors. And I'm saying, like, how could you, you know, how could you not be connected to God? You know, and I know it's very subtle and it's personal, you know, people's relationship with God, but young people don't want that as an answer anymore, because they just don't, you know, they don't want it, they don't want anybody to tell them that anymore, because they haven't seen it work. They haven't seen if you pray, then this happens. You know, I'm talking about the children that have been through, you know, these are our children. These are the children's children that have seen destruction and, you know, degradation, and they just don't see it work. And so it's funny to them. It's funny, and it's like, oh, archaic almost. And it doesn't mean that they're devil worshipers or that they're, you know, it just means they want something real. They want something they can see. They want something that they can feel. They want something that they can, understand. And the way it's been given to us is just like you just have to believe.
Right.
It's just faith, and you just have to believe what I say, okay? Just believe everything that I say, and everything will be all right. And that hasn't proven itself to work.
Right.
And so these young people want to discover God. They want to know God for real. They want to know God for themselves. They don't want to hear doctrine, and they don't want to hear, things that, just read this psalm and everything will be okay.
Right.
They don't want that anymore. And so it doesn't mean that they're bad and, if we just had God, then everything would work out right. Was it? That's what I want to know. Was it working out right when everybody had God?
Right.
When everybody had God and was taught God, then slavery was still in effect.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Undeniably.
So it's like, and it's not me being blasphemous at all. I know God. I know it. Wait, what are you about to? You're showing me something, but I'm just saying, and through my trials, and then through my triumph, I was able to find it for real, for true.
Right.
And I'm still detoxing from what I learned from church. That God is this way. When I know God, that you can't write anything in a book or present something to me that will make me know God better. That is
right.
what people need to make that journey to having no doubt. Because when you believe something, Brother Shaq, you talk about the lie being in the middle, but there's doubt.
Right.
There's doubt somewhere. This is a knowing. And I don't even know. Here we go.
There you go, saying something.
Is it 5:30?
It's 5:30.
I'm all kind of
That's
brave
8.
all the time because, even if people don't like me, or even if people say, oh my goodness, she's da-da-da, it don't matter.
Right.
It Spirit says speak. Speak on it. If there's a way for you to help a young person, and you could say, can we pray together or whatever the case may be, but don't tell them the answer to all of their problems is God. Don't do that to them. That's not fair. Because there are people who are in church and who've been born and raised in church who are living in misery and living in pain and living in, still. So please tell me how, the answer is seeking yourself,
Right.
seeking yourself and finding God there.
Right.
As the creator of you and the creator of self. And still some of that is still colored in religion. Still even that is. And so I'm trying to detox from it and to explain really the connection that I feel.
Right.
The connection that Spirit is the true connection to God.
That's
and,
right.
and we are made in God's image, supposedly.
Right.
Made in God's image, and that we are not far from God at all.
Never.
Never far, never. And so, I'm sweating.
Well,
I'm sweating right now.
Thank you for that. It ain't the devil. It's just hot. But thank you.
No, I'm sweating because I'm working.
And you're
I'm
releasing.
working. Yeah, I'm releasing it, and I feel really, really connected, and never disconnected.
Right.
Never again disconnected. And I think what the lullaby of religion has done is put us all to sleep so that we don't feel.
Right.
We don't. It's not much about feeling. It's more about faith.
Well, what you were saying brought this to mind. That's why
Yeah.
I pulled it up, because I thought you were describing this very thing, and it was a meme that I saw. You said they're dog on social media, huh? It was a meme. Someone created a meme that said, "How come the discerning spirits of the church know when a girl is being fast, but don't know when she's being molested?"
Yeah, yikes.
Yeah. And
That's the difference between, knowing God and having a personal relationship with
Right.
the.
And that's not your meme either. I just want to say that's not a Mama Fiyah meme or a True Love Movement meme. It's just a meme floating around out there, because it's speaking to somebody, as they would say. You're talking to somebody, and the ways that you are describing how there are people who are having those kind of experiences.
Yes,
so
many people.
Right, and so when you say to them that your answer is this, they look at you like you got 6 heads, because if that's my answer and this is what that is, I don't even want to be here, because that's why the young folk have a lot of despair.
They do.
After that is because you're saying to me that this is it?
That's all you got. That's all you got. And it was given to you by your slave masters.
Right.
So that's all you have. And if the deep dive of self-work happens, you will find the answers.
Right.
You will find the answers. And you know, Brother Shay, you know, we have all been hurt and damaged by religion and by the things that we have been taught and things that have been shoved down our throats. And I remember when I was answering that question, there was a potential that we could have done work for or with this this community center. And I was actually talking to the man, you know, the person who's highly religious. And I just couldn't get along. I couldn't just be like, you know, God, you know, and kind of fall along with it, just because, you know. You got integrity. I got integrity, and no one can teach you God. I really feel like you gotta find it. Right. That it's got to be found in you, and the work that it takes to get there is tremendous, and it's hard because of what we've been told, of how we've been raised, you know, and I'll call it the belly of the beast, but you know, we are in a very sick environment, and you know, what we learn is like to be small, to shut up, to be secretive, and to, you know, be seen and not heard, and you know, we are taught all these things, and when do we say enough is enough? When do we get to that point as enough is enough? You know, and these young people coming out that way. Right. That's my point. My point is, it took me 28 years to be like, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. They coming out that way. Right. They're done with the lullabies and the fantasies and the fairy tales and the myths, and they want to know the truth. And I heard one man say, the only religion is truth. Right. The only true religion is truth.
Well, now you said a mouthful right there. The True and True Love movement. You know, and speaking of memes, I saw that you had some you were sharing that were like the Facebook memories. Yeah. Shout out to our Facebook family too. Memories. We got Just Keisha that's also joined us.
Thank you for joining us. This show, I don't know if we ever really got started.
But you know, you've said that for years for different shows. It's like, you know, we go through the whole show. Back then it was an hour, and we would get to like 48 minutes, and you'd say, you know, I don't know if we ever really got to the subject or the topic of it. And I'll be looking at you like, that's all we've been doing. What kind of start do you think we're gonna have? I mean, this is the evolutionary, the evolving, the unfolding, the real time of that. And this is Real Talk for Real Time, right here on WBOK 1230 AM here in New Orleans, your independent black-owned radio station here. That's a major, big old major deal too.
Yes, it is.
You know, but
we're so thankful.
So thankful, and have you know, done this with integrity and responsibility, because we know you're listening, we know you're watching, and it gives me an opportunity too to bring something else up, Mama Fiyah, that you were talking a little bit, just a little earlier, getting started about True Love Movement, or about us. And they had a brother who I was working with that said something to me that I know he intended to be highly complimentary. And the moment he said it to me, it was as though he punched me in the stomach and I wasn't looking.
Oh, wow.
And
do tell.
And so I set that up good.
Yeah. Now we all want to listen.
Now everyone wants to know. The brother said, and I mean really like a gut punch, like one of them real deep. I'm talking about like an uppercut, and you know, completely not even aware, and you know, into the, you know, pushing the lungs up into the sternum, kind of like the wind, like.
Okay, tell us. Good.
Oh, you want to know?
Yes.
The brother said, "Man, I look at you and Mama Fiyah like y'all superheroes." Did you feel it too? Did it hit you?
I got a grimace.
You got a grimace? Okay.
I got a grimace.
I didn't have a grimace. I had the gut punch that I described in great detail, and I felt it physically. And I know that the brother meant in the highest form of flattery and as a compliment what he said.
Yeah.
You know, and I know he meant nothing ill or nothing, and it just wasn't in his spirit. And of course, it was also unsolicited because I didn't say, well, you know, what do you think? It wasn't even that. But he was feeling the spirit. He was inspired. He was, you know, and it was coming from just his own recollections and experience with us, you know, directly and also indirectly.
I would tell him, look in the mirror, brother.
And I did.
Yeah.
I did. But that idea, though, that superhero or that celebrity or that above that hierarchical, you know, westernized, Americanized, white supremacist, you know,
iconify. Is that a word?
I think, or iconography. I'm not even sure because that ain't what it, you know, or.
And that's not what we here for.
Or like you said earlier, just in plain speak, pedestal.
Yeah.
You know, the whole location of it, you know, and so I had an opportunity today to work with a different brother, and we were talking, and we were looking at water, and I was saying that, you know, I realized, and because, you know, when the brother said it, I had never thought about it and never aspired to it, and never, but it's always, you know, it's like the way the universe works, people will say, some folk will say what other folk are thinking, in much the way that we've done for the last, you know, hour and, you know, hour and 40 minutes or whatever it's been, saying what people are thinking. We're not just saying things from outer space that have never been pondered, that no one's ever uttered or nobody's ever considered. We're just saying them, and we're saying them in a way and in a format and on a platform that gives them opportunity to resonate with you, so that you know, yeah, not just you ain't the only one, and that you are part of a universal consciousness. But it really, what I explained to the brothers, that, you know, for our people, what we do not have at this juncture in our journey, our sojourn here in America, what we do not have yet is the very clear line of sight, as people like to use line of sight because of the thought that it must be linear, though we see much more widely and circular than any line of sight. But in our immediate perception, we don't really have the destination yet. It's still very much so in our imagination and in our hope and in our fantasy that we are, because of where we are struggling out of something, and so we're on a journey. What we have really is the journey, because we don't even talk in terms of destination. We have the journey away from the tyranny toward the destination. But I'm just saying, in our time, in this particular day and time where we are right here, right now, we know the future is going to look different, but I'm just saying in this moment in time. And so since we've got the journey, with those of us who do this work as black folk, for black folk, with the black experience and black lens, we are very much so in it with the people we are in it with. We're in it. We're not above it. And I think that to connect that to the way that we've talked about the religion and the hierarchical groove that it presented us as normative or normalcy or even the standard of order, that the notion is that someone who is working and ushering you or holding your hand on your healing journey is above it all.
Yeah.
Like folk, you know, say this is above me now. It's above me now. You know, it's above me now. And that and not only that they are, but that they should be. That's the other part of it too, because that's the unspoken part of it, that they should be.
Yeah. And
I'm saying, for those of us who are politically designated as black, not only is it not fair, because it isn't fair, but it's not realistic, because we've not been able to come our time out of it has not been such that we are just so distant, you know. So we're like in perhaps in a ship that is just gathering water, but it hasn't sunk yet, but it's gathering water, and we've been able to get out and figure out how to get out, and we go in and we be in a lot, and we get in the water on us, and we are being overtaken by the water sometimes, and we're able to get out, and we can get some people out, and some people don't get out, and then we're still in there with it, but we're still in it. We're not navigating it from the safety of the shores, the beach, saying, "Oh, that is like that, and that's that general kind of stuff." You're a general. We're very much so warriors in the struggle.
Yeah, I think, I don't know about it punching at me in my stomach, but I feel it. I do. That statement, just because that means that's a lot more work to be done. That's a lot more work with that person to be done.
Absolutely.
It just means that they're confused because they're looking at it from the white lens, a white savior or some kind of savior lens, and that you don't even see the human in me.
Right.
You don't see the human in the person that you're sitting with. You got to be able to see humanity. Humanity meaning we ain't perfect, and neither are we trying. Right. We're
not beyond human.
We're not beyond human, and that's that same Zeus thing, and the same, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's the mythology.
Spider-Man, and all these different things, and we all are very powerful. Yes, we are all powerful, and the thing about it is that so are you, and putting all of that stock into people, that what does that do to us? That's why we started talking about revolutionaries.
Right.
That's also not fair.
Right.
To do that to ourselves or do that to other people, and maybe they're special and that they inspired us, but you're going to take that inspiration, you're going to do some good work and inspire somebody else with it.
That's right.
That's the movement in True Love Movement. And please, we are still healing, Brother Shaggy. That's why I'm saying, how do you heal in the belly of the beast?
On a daily.
Constantly.
This is it.
Constantly. And so, I would rather my children look up to me. And not that I'm a superhero. I don't need them to do that to me.
Right.
Because I had that for my family, and I had to break that on down so that I could heal.
Right.
I had that for my daddy, He was the Superman.
Right.
And so when he didn't show up, I was heartbroken.
Right.
And I had to do the same thing for my mama. I deified her and said, "Oh, she's so great, and she's so..." Then I had to look and see what happened to her.
Right.
You have to be able to look at all of it in order for you to get the inspiration to heal yourself and everything that you've been. Because we see this person, "Oh, you're way up there, and you're all on a pedestal, and I'm way down here."
Right.
No, Ubuntu.
That's right.
I am, because we are.
That's
We are
right.
in this together. We are all superheroes. How about that?
Right.
We got to do that.
Right.
But we don't have to do that. We can love and honor and respect each other. What happens if something between Brother Shaq and I would change?
Right.
What would happen? Would that mean all your dreams and goals and aspirations would be crushed?
Right.
If Brother Shaq and I decide to make a change. You know what I'm saying? That's scary to think Brother Shaq and I can't even make a change if we needed to, because we got so many people looking at us and adoring us and honoring us, instead of saying they're human beings and whatever they need to do for themselves, we honor that.
To do.
Yeah, we honor that. So, nonetheless, yes, we are having a fundraiser.
Right.
At Cafe Istanbul.
That's right.
On Sunday, this Sunday, August the 4th, so, Black August.
That's right.
And we didn't put anything about Black August on there because our brother Lamont Simmons of UDA and some other collaborators, Black Star and other people are coming together and doing something specifically for Black August.
That's right.
And honoring Black August. And we've had shows on Black August before.
Indeed.
If you don't know what Black August is, please Google it. And I'm not saying that to be funny or funny acting. I'm just saying, we've been celebrating Black August, well, not celebrating, but commemorating Black August for a long time.
Very long time.
And so we've done all the RBG and all these things for years and years and years and years. And it's not that we don't need those things. It's just that, let the young people do it, And so they're doing something. And so we can share that also in the Facebook thread. But there's, I'll try to read it because August is coming on up. To tell more about that, and we'll be involved in that, right, Brother Shay?
That's right. Yeah, we definitely going to have a hand in that.
Mm-hmm.
We are family. We're celebrating 40 Fly.
40 Fly.
40 Fly.
Yeah, here it is.
And
the flyer says, I apologize. The flyer says the commemoration of Black August. Come and join us. So there's a calendar, August calendar of events. So there'll be Friday night viewings from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. starting on the 2nd, 8-2. I think that must, 8-2. It must be every Friday. Yeah, Friday night viewings. Mm-hmm. So on August the 2nd, there's the Day of the Gun, the Soledad Brothers, and we know that they're the reason Black August exists.
That's
and
right.
Then August the 9th, in the Land of the Free, the Angola 3 story.
Mm-hmm.
The August 16th, that's somebody special's birthday.
Uh-huh.
On August 16th, the story of Marcus Garvey. On August 23rd, Welcome to New Orleans, the post-Katrina story. Then on August 30th, the Spook Who Sat by the Door. All of those things are going to be happening at Black Star every Friday in August. Then on Saturday, August the 10th, there's a weapons training.
Oh, yes.
From 11 to 3. And I'm not going to say where that is for a cost.
That's
and
right.
then there'll be a speaker, Joe Lewis workshops, and a concert. Mm-hmm. A concert on Saturday, August 10th. That's coming up soon. Then on Saturday, August 17th, there's the Marcus Garvey Day Festival.
All right.
From 12 to 7 at Black Star. And so the commemoration of Black August is coming up. We definitely, if you're interested in that, you definitely should be a part of any or all of the events happening there. And I'm happy that it's back up and running. For a while, True Love Movement did Black August events, and we did a Black August calendar and all those things. And
right.
I wish it was the thing that helped our people,
mm-hmm.
the thing. But we're
it's one of the things.
Yeah, we're working on it. So 40 Fly.
40 Fly family.
Is a New Year celebration, birthday celebration for both me and Brother Shaq. Yeah.
You already made it. You've been there already.
Yeah, I've been there, but I wanted to. Yeah, this is just a celebration of
right.
that. It's still July, but it's happening. Sunday, August 4th. That's this Sunday. And it's right there at Cafe Istanbul. It's also a fundraiser for True Love Movement.
That's right.
The series of Serious Sisters will be performing along with Sonny Patterson, DJ IV, and the Free Souls.
Right on.
Brother Shaq will be playing the cowbell.
So I hear.
Yeah, and hosting the show. And we're going to be selling some of our beautiful fresh aloe plants, as well as our cooking pears. If you're interested, y'all can come and buy T-shirts and books and everything that we have, just to support True Love Movement. Our healing space, we need some work done.
That's right.
On our healing space. And so we're having this fundraiser so that we can get that work done, where we see people all the time.
That's right.
And listen, if anything is revolutionary, is when we can support and honor each other, to help each other build up what we're doing.
That's right.
It's okay. It's okay for people to come to the fundraiser. It's okay for us to go to Black Star. It's okay for us to support with Community Book Center and Craig Center and Tombar Life Center and us helping us. And that's Ubuntu, So let's celebrate it, Ubuntu, on Sunday.
That's right.
August the 4th. 6 o'clock, y'all. 6 o'clock at Cafe Istanbul. Shout out to Chuck.
Shout out to our brother Chuck Perkins.
Yeah.
WBOK's own, alumni here. And I was thinking when you were talking about that, Mama Fiyah, 40 Fly, and that's just a real jazzy way that you have coined. Mama Fiyah actually does all of that, family. Just so y'all know. You hear something like that, that's not
I
me.
think they might know.
You think they know? Okay. I'm stating it so it's known that I can't take any credit for that.
Yeah.
Mama Fiyah got us 40 fly, and that's 45, 45 revolutions around.
And 4 plus 5 is what?
4 plus 5 is 9.
Yeah.
And that's really significant, family, that this 4 plus 5 and this 9, because 9 is the number of change.
Yes.
And transformation. And so that means that we're at a time in our lives where things really, really cannot stay the same, stay as they have been, and that they must change.
Yes, they will.
And they must change in some very radical ways. And so we would ask that with that understanding, with that theme, that you all keep rooting for us. I saw that you had a hashtag that said keep rooting for us. 45 is significant for those of you who are listening and watching who've already made it. I haven't quite made it yet. Mama Fiyah has made it, and she's told me it is all the business.
Man, I
45 is the business.
I don't feel like the same person.
Right.
I feel new.
Right. And I think I don't think I know I'm looking forward to embracing that as opposed to running from it, because you cannot run from the present and the future, and the whole idea of being in the spirit of a thing, and in spirit and spiraling, and how that works in a very forward sort of motion, not a backwards. That's forward ever, backwards never. So this is a critical and pivotal and radical time for us individually, and collectively, and therefore impacting True Love Movement. So we would ask you all to come out on Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday, August 4th.
August 4th, 2372 St. Claude Avenue at Cafe Istanbul with our good brother Chuck, and join in with the Serious Sisters, the Free Souls. We're going to have a good time. Apparently there's going to be a cowbell in there. I'm going to be hosting. I just found out. It's how the work. That's how the real work happens, family. You just find out. You find yourself out, and then you show up and you do what you're being called to do. And so we're calling on you to show up and be with us, be with True Love Movement, be with the rest of the family community of folk who love us and love True Love Movement and the work and the future and the potential of the work, expansion of the work. Come on out. We're going to be looking for you. We're excited to see you. We want you to come celebrate with us. And we also want you to lift up, True Love Movement, what True Love Movement has been for all this time and for all these years, and the promise of what True Love Movement is going to be and evolving into for the future and the future solutions for our people. So we thank you. We're so honored that you rode with us for this hour. So many things happening in the city of New Orleans and beyond that you could be doing. We are grateful that you have chosen to ride with us. We would ask that you like True Love Movement on Facebook and share this show and others with folk that you respect. Keep the conversation going about our conversation and our discussion. Please engage with the video. Be on the lookout for the True Love Movement Hour YouTube channel as videos are being added weekly. And if you need some True Love Movement history, there's plenty of it right there, Mama Fiyah. And
that's
so
right.
Follow True Love Movement on Instagram, at TLMHR on Twitter, and of course Fiyah Like Ayana. Don't forget about that, because that blog, the mirror work, is important. Do this mirror work to transform your life and the lives of the folk that you care about. So, without any further ado, Mama Fiyah, I'm Brother Shaq.
And Mama Fiyah.
For True Love Movement Tuesdays, family.
Wholeness.
Y'all look at Mama Fiyah over there on the boards. Y'all look at Mama Fiyah over there on the boards, taking care of business, putting the station back online. Y'all got to give it up for Mama Fiyah. Now she y'all can't see her, family. I see her. She over there on the other side of the glass, cause she is a DJ. Little do you all know, she is in fact a DJ, and we're gonna add DJ to her resume very, very soon. But
I did it.
I was telling them how, you know, that you go put the whole station back online.
I did it.
So let it be known right now that Mama Fiyah can add DJ
I sure
to
can.
her resume.
DJ, what is it called?
Official.
Engineer?
DJ engineer. She's all that, family. So shout out
We
to
see
you.
y'all Sunday.
We see you Sunday. Make sure you come through. Bring somebody. Bring some money. And bring some love for the true love movement. Wholeness.
On it.